Question 56. Which of the following has been recognized as a fundamental rights by Supreme Court of India? 1. Right to shelter. 2. Right to travel abroad. 3. Right to equal pay for equal work. Select the correct answer from the code given below. Code A 1 and 2, B 2 and 3, C 1 and 3, D 1, 2 and 3. Explanation. Option D is correct. In the case of Kameli Singh versus State of UP 1995, the Supreme Court has held that right to livelihood under Article 21 also includes right to shelter. It was further stated that the right to shelter does not mean a mere right to a roof over one's head, but the right to all the infrastructure necessary to enable a person to live. The Supreme Court in the case of Satwant Singh versus Union of India held that right to travel abroad is a fundamental right. In a landmark case of Ranveer Singh versus Union of India, the Supreme Court held that, construing Article 14 and 16 in the light of the preamble and Article 39d, we are of the view that the principle equal pay for equal work is deducible from those articles and may be properly applied to cases of unequal scales of pay based on no classification or irrational classification, though these drawing the different scales of pay do identical work under the same employer. Question 57. Which of the following are envisaged by the right against exploitation in the Constitution of India? 1. Prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor. 2. Abolition of untouchability. 3. Protection of the interests of minorities. 4. Prohibition of employment of children in factories and mines. Select the correct answer using the codes below. A 1, 2, and 4 only. B 2, 3 and 4 only. C 1 and 4 only. D 1, 2, 3 and 4. Explanation. Option C is correct. The right against exploitation, given in Article 23 and 24, provides for two provisions, that is, the abolition of trafficking in human beings and forced labor, and abolition of employment of children below the age of 14 years in hazardous jobs like factories, mine, etc. Question 58. With reference to India, consider the following statements. 1. When a prisoner makes out a sufficient case, parole cannot be denied to such prisoner because it becomes a matter of his or her right. 2. State government have their own prisoners release on parole rules. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. release of a prisoner, either temporarily for a special purpose or completely before the expiry of a sentence, on the promise of good behavior. Such a promise is known as a word of honor provided in the parole order. Parole is not recognized as a right in India, despite the fact that it has administration importance. A prisoner's claim to parole is not absolute, and prison authorities have considerable discretion in granting parole to that prisoner. However, parole is considered a right for prisoners by a number of international accords and organizations. The grant of parole is governed by rules made under Prison Act, 1894 and Prison Act, 1900. Many state governments have also formulated guidelines to bring out objectivity and facilitate decision-making to determine whether parole needs to be granted in a particular case or not. Such decisions are taken in accordance with guidelines framed from time to time. The Prisons, Bombay Furlough and Parole Rules, 1959, have been enacted by exercising rule-making power under Section 59(5) of the Prisons Act, 1984. Question 59. Which one of the following is not correctly matched? A. Article 23, Prohibition of Traffic in Human and Forced Labor. B. Article 24, Prohibition of Employment of Children in Factories. C. Article 26, Freedom to Manage Religious Affairs. D. Article 29, Freedom of Establishment and Administration of Educational Institutions by Minorities. Explanation. Option D is correct. Freedom to establishment and administration of educational institutions by minorities is given under Article 30, while Article 29 is related to the protection of interest of minorities. Question 60. Which one of the following pairs is not correctly matched? A. Article 23, Prohibition of Traffic in Human Beings and Forced Labor. B. Article 29, Protection of Interests of Minorities. C. Article 32, Right to Constitutional Remedies. D. Article 31, Right of Minorities to Establish and Administer Education Institutions. Explanation. Option D is correct. The right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions is provided under Article 30, while Article 31 was for compulsory acquisition of property, which has been repealed by 44th Amendment Act, 1978, and now right to property is a legal right under Article 300A in Part 12 of the Constitution.